Welcome to the Platinum Agent Podcast, where gold is just the beginning. I'm Renee Ruth, top producing agent, global real estate educator, and, believe it or not, a 2025 Grammy nominee. But today I'm here to help you hit the highest level in real estate. This is the Agent to Agent podcast designed to help you grow, scale, and reach platinum status in your business. Expect powerful strategies, expert insights, and real conversations about what it takes to dominate in real estate. And of course, I'm not doing this alone. My co-host Joshua is here too. He may not talk much, he is a dog after all, but he's got a nose for success and a talent for keeping me on track. So if you're ready to stop playing small and start thinking bigger, hit that subscribe button and let's go platinum together. Welcome to the Platinum Agent Podcast. My name is Renee Ruth. I am a real estate agent, global educator, six-time icon agent at eXp Realty, and also the host of this Platinum Agent Podcast. I love sharing strategies. I love interviewing experts in the field. I love mindset-focused discussions. I love the future of our industry and where it may or may not go. And today, to have that conversation with me, especially as we relate to brokerages, specifically, I'm here for, here we go, Kaushik. Did I do it right?
Yes.
Okay. So here with me today, I'm so excited to introduce Kaushik Sirkar. Oh my gosh. It's a good thing they edit these. Okay. Kaushik Sirkar. Don't say that.
Like knockout, and then the razor.
What's your nationality?
Indian.
Okay. Oh, so do you have a client or cohort? We'll talk about that later. Okay. So I love talking about the future of our industry, and here to do that with me is Kaushik Sirkar. He is the founder of the Sirkar Group and has over this is huge, 200 million in sales, making him a top producer at Real, as you can see in his background, with extensive experience in luxury homes, corporate relocations, investment properties, and he's got a huge dedication and integrity to being recognized in this industry, and as well you should, sir. Welcome to the podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Renee, thank you for having me. Looking forward to our chat this morning. Somehow there's a little typo. It's about 350 million in sales in total, not 200.
Little typo.
Little typo.
That's a huge congratulations. Okay, before we get into your wild success, let's talk first, because I know every time I start these podcasts, if someone's watching, the first thing they're like, how did you even get into real estate? And I know here they even talked about the fact that you've done other things. If you wanted to just give us a background on your story, I'd love to hear it.
Absolutely. It's an interesting path that I took to get into real estate. I'm originally an engineer, perhaps a little bit too overeducated of an engineer to be in real estate. I have a background, my bachelor's, master's, PhD in chemical engineering, and I have an MBA. I was working for a large semiconductor company in the Southwest, got my real estate license for my own investment property. So I have a background as a real estate investor. This is back in the early 2000s. My coworkers, hey, he's got a license. We know and trust him. Help me buy this. Help me sell this. So I did real estate as a hobby for 3 years. And very frankly, next thing you know, your salary is this at the day job, and your commissions from your hobby are starting to surpass that. And it was time to take this business full time in 2009. And the rest is, well, history in progress, at least.
History in progress. All right. So 2009 was full time, and you were working at the time for a boutique brokerage. Where were you working?
I was with a small, little traditional brokerage. Great folks, great support. It's what I knew at the time. And I just didn't feel I needed a big brand name behind me. I sell myself. I don't necessarily need to sell XYZ company or ABC company.
Agreed. Actually, I think the brand is always the individual. And I tell agents, you actually are the commodity. And you, sir, are an incredible commodity. How did you scale? I know that there's probably agents sitting there thinking, how do you do 350 million? That's just so much. How did you do that?
At some point, right? You have to be a performer. You have to take care of your clients. You have to get results for your clients. But guess what? You can't do any of that if you don't have clients, right? So it's all about marketing, advertising, lead generation, staying in front of your clients, staying in front of your prospective clients. When you get them, you have to service them and provide A+ service, right? But until then, you've got to do client acquisition. So a huge part of our jobs is always marketing, advertising, lead generation, and utilizing systems that automate this process ideally.
And I think we could lean into kind of you at Real, and as many might know, I'm at EXP, but cloud-based brokerages, because you're talking about funnels and various things that have been, and automations even, which are a newer approach to real estate. Share what you know and have learned as you move into kind of the current era of our industry.
Congratulations for being at EXP. I was this close to joining EXP. I think EXP and Real are obviously very similar brokerage models. The cloud-based brokerage, it's not just the brokerage model of the present, it's going to continue growing as the model for brokerages in the future. EXP is a massive brokerage. I think you guys have 85, 90,000 agents. I think we're at 27, 28,000, and we're the fastest growing brokerage. I think agents more and more are starting to see the value of the cloud-based brokerage as opposed to the traditional office. If you need to go into your office and have coffee every morning with the other agents in your office, maybe a cloud-based brokerage is not for you. But guess what? If you're going into the office every morning and hobnobbing with the other agents, where those people aren't going to use you to buy or sell homes, right? You should be hobnobbing with your prospective clientele, not the other agents in your office every single day.
You know, it's crazy. When I started in a boutique brokerage, also, it was just a little local owned brokerage. And I remember we were required to keep time in the office. And I was a brand new agent. As we talked before the show, that I've got 15 years of university experience. And so when I moved in, I had no sales experience, but I remember sitting in the office going, what am I doing here? Because at that point, it was 2018. People weren't coming into offices. Clients were, if they were coming in, they were coming in to see their agent. It wasn't like strangers wandered in looking for houses. Any of the calls that came in were going straight to the broker. It's not like they were being dealt out, and they weren't really coming in anymore. Like phone duty wasn't a thing. And so I just thought, why are we in here? These are my competitors. These are like, we're like, if somebody walks in, it's like wolves, right? So I didn't see, to me, I was like, I'm better served out in the community. So share from with that traditional mindset, not knocking it. If people have a community they love at a traditional brokerage, congratulations. But I share your vision. If you are the brand, the person is the brand, they work with you because of you 9 times out of 10, not because of the company you work for. So when you moved into the cloud-based brokerage, because you had been traditional, what were some of the big shifts you made, but how did they benefit you?
So, a couple of points, right? First of all, we talked about going into the office. And I think there are benefits to collaborating with your colleagues because there are things you can learn, there are things you can take and implement with your business, right? It just doesn't mean you need to spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day every single day at the office. That is time wasted that you could be prospecting, networking, connecting with your clientele. Right? So there are benefits to being in the office. There are benefits to collaboration. However, there are limits. You can't do that every single day for massive amounts of time, right? What I've found is if you're not sitting in the office, you have time to sit right here in front of your computer, and you have the ability virtually to learn and improve your game. So for example, when I moved to the cloud-based brokerage, I started paying attention to various trainings that were available to us. And the best example I can give you is I paid attention to some of the listing playbooks that we had, how to really up my game to get listings, to dominate the listing presentation. And I can tell you, I'm not batting 1,000, right? That's difficult to bat 1,000. But if I get in front of a seller at their home, I'm sure I'm batting 800, 900, which of course in baseball, 300 is great. 800, 900 is amazing. So if I can get in front of the seller at their home, most likely I'm going to wow them with what we're going to do for their house. And I've really upped my game in that regard because I've been able to focus on learning these skill sets that I didn't necessarily have the time for in the past, because maybe you were going into the office, maybe you were doing something not quite as productive.
And so I love it. Here's what just 1 second while he gets that out of his system. So what I love about what you just said is that when you go to the office, so here's what happens. The water cooler theory, you just spend a lot of time talking about things that don't actually matter. And also high producing agents tend to not want to share because it's a competitor. So yes, you can sit there and learn, but you're all working the same market. There tends to be this withholding of information where in a virtual environment that collaboration is totally different because you're collaborating as not just in this other states, but in other countries in some cases. So I love what you said about listings. You have front loaded your business with listings. Are you willing to share anything in your playbook? Because you mentioned how high your batting averages for listings. Are you willing to share kind of your process with sellers that has made you so successful in getting listings?
There's a lot of things to unwrap there. We probably can't touch on all of them in our call here today. First of all, when it comes to sharing, right? Sharing unto itself is not a problem. You, me, we're recruiting agents into our organizations, right? We train, we mentor agents that want to come into our organization. So training and sharing with them is absolutely not a problem. Open book right here. If I have systems, if I have strategies, I'm willing to share them. The hardest part, I think, and it is a lot of these folks that come on, these new agents. Number one, they're a secret agent. They don't want to advertise. I have to tell them over and over again that they need to do X, Y, and Z for marketing. All right. Put in the systems. Some of these folks don't get that. I tell folks over and over again, put in this system, utilize this strategy. So sharing is not a problem. I think the biggest problem is on the receiving end, this agent, that agent joining the cloud-based brokerage model, embracing that mind shift change, embracing that change in culture and putting in the systems they need to be successful. It's the basics. Start off, don't be the secret agent. Post on social media, start an email marketing campaign, maybe start a postcard campaign. Whatever the case is, do it and do it well. Sharing is not a problem. Imparting the wisdom to the folks that we're bringing into our organization, that's a little bit harder because they have to be receptive.
I think that's the great challenge too, is that what's the phrase? You can lead a horse to water. You can't always make them drink. So you can be willing to share. So I always tell everybody that I will show you my whole playbook. And I'm not afraid to show my whole playbook because I know most people won't do half the things that I did just because it's human nature. But I do know that there's a mentality in some of the traditional models that they don't want to disclose what their success stories are just because there's a lack mentality. You live in two places, either a competitive one or a creative one. And what I love about the cloud base is it's because it's so forward thinking. It is very creative based. They're really focused on creating the future, not competing with what's currently exists. So talk about like how this has benefited you, because I know you work across multiple metropolises in multiple states, correct?
Absolutely. So on the real estate front, and by the way, Real Broker has a sister company, One Real Mortgage. I'm a licensed LO on that side of the fence as well, and it's cloud-based, and we recruit loan officers under us as well. But for both of these companies, Real Broker, One Real Mortgage, I'm licensed in Arizona and California, and we service the entirety of these areas. So Phoenix Metro, Tucson, LA, San Diego, Bay Area, all these places we service. On the real estate side in Arizona, at least Phoenix Metro, it's mostly myself, but I have partners in California and the major metropolitan areas. What I found is the humans often will move, and they'll move back and forth between these areas sometimes. And it's really beneficial in certain cases if somebody's moving from San Francisco to Phoenix, if somebody's moving from Tucson to San Diego, or any combination of the above, where they have the same agent on both ends of the transaction. They don't have to communicate with agent A for the sale of their house and then agent B for the purchase of the new one. I can help them on both sides. And if they're a relocation client, a corporate relocation client, working with one of the global relocation vendors, guess what? We've got partnerships and affiliations with almost every single one of them.
That's incredible. I did. So for relocations, how does that work for real in relos?
We have connections with practically every single one. So if you're somebody and your company is moving you from Phoenix to LA with a corporate relocation package, Real has an affiliation with 98%, 99% of the relocation companies out there. So we can jump in and partner with you on both ends of your move and work through the relocation company and the parameters that they've given you.
That's incredible. EXP doesn't have that one because that's a unique position, because usually they work exclusively with whichever companies they've partnered with for relos, and relos are huge. I'm sure they're big out in your area too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. So what did you do to scale your business?
It goes back to, and I'm probably at that level where I should get a full-time transaction coordinator. Maybe I should look at the specific buyer agents and whatnot. But I've always been lean and mean. I don't like a lot of consistent overhead, but the scaling goes back to the marketing. How do I stay in front of the humans on a regular basis? How do I provide them value? What information can I give them? Right? There's some simple strategies, electronic newsletters with listings, with deals of the week, etc. I have databases of 20, 25, 30,000 folks that I will send that to on a regular basis. I have no problem sharing, right? HomeBot. All realtors should utilize some systems, whether it's HomeBot or something like that. There are other ones out there that once the humans are in your system, they will get an automated email with useful information every single month with very high open rates, better than traditional marketing. And then social media. I found social media is great. I'm not the biggest Instagram star. I don't have 5 million followers. I don't dance on TikTok. That would be very bad for business. But everybody that I do have on my social media, these folks see my closings. These folks see the funny little reel I did, and they comment on that. They're watching. So you don't have to be the biggest social media star to take advantage of social media for your business, to grow your business.
No, and that's something else that I said, because it's not necessarily about the views, it's about how many people comment, because it's the names and the numbers, right? So if you did a TikTok video or an Instagram post and it had 200 views, but 5 people engaged, and then you got 3 clients, that's a win in our industry, right? Because
It's a massive win. You don't need 10,000 views. If you're mediocre on social media and you get 150, 200, 300 views, just imagine how many phone calls it will take to get that many people to talk to you, which is very time intensive. Social media, 300 views, once the reel is ready, click a button, you're done.
Yeah. And these days you can use ChatGPT to tell you how to create half this stuff. So it doesn't even have to be this organic creation, because most people get stuck. And I think too, one of the big things is to let go of perfection. Don't worry about that. Just put content out that educates. What's your content go to typically?
I've heard that you should be very consistent, either be a talking head or home tours on a consistent basis, something like that. And I'm not consistent in that regard. I will be the talking head. I will be the funny talking head. I will do the home tours. I will post pictures or something informative. I will post silly listing videos, right? So I'm not consistent in that regard. If I were consistent, perhaps I could generate a bigger following. But I do the fact that I put variety out there. I think some people appreciate that.
Oh, you know what? It's over time, it will grow. It just will. So, what would you say is the biggest benefit to our cloud-based brokerages? What would be the biggest benefit?
Cloud-based brokerage for the realtors that are out there, all right? You working at a traditional brokerage, if you're going to be successful, you can be successful. You can do a great job, service your clients, make lots of money. If you're going to be a successful agent, you can do that anywhere and everywhere. Cloud-based brokerage lets you have multiple streams of income. You can take your real estate business, which is solely dependent on your efforts, and you can expand and scale that to where you can bring other people on board. In a traditional brokerage model, you have to do that as the broker, hiring people into your company. The cloud-based brokerage lets you act as a pseudo broker, as having your own brokerage where you bring people in and you see the benefits of that without the risks necessarily. You're not going to be on the contracts with everybody you bring in unless you guys are on a team together. So the pros of having a brokerage without the negatives in terms of liability for what those agents do. It can be an absolute massive win if you grasp the concept and you can bring people on. This allows you over time to leave a legacy. Traditional brokerage, sell homes, make money, stop selling homes, no more money. Cloud-based brokerage, you can grow something and you can establish something that keeps generating money for you, for your family, even when you stop working.
That is one of the most amazing things that this company offers. Both companies offer agents, because it's not a traditional broker is not going to share. That's just not how that system works. So it's open doors. How have you found that recruiting piece of the puzzle? Because a lot of agents will say, "Oh, it's just so hard to recruit." Do you feel that way?
Anything that's worthwhile is not going to come easy. If it's going to come easy, it's probably not worth the hassle. Just like selling homes and marketing to your real estate clientele, you have to market to the prospective folks who are interested in joining the cloud-based brokerage. You've got to stay in front of them. You've got to explain the benefits, the pros, maybe the cons, without being overbearing. When they're ready, you chat with them, you show the information in more detail, but don't be in their face too much. Let them be attracted to you and what you're talking about. Don't go push yourself on them. But that being said, you have to talk about it. You have to pique people's interest. So in that regard, marketing is necessary. Coffee appointments are necessary. Lunch appointments are necessary.
So you mentioned cons. What would you say might be some of the cons in a cloud-based brokerage?
So I was on a Zoom call last night with some folks who have joined Real recently under myself, under folks I brought in, right? You've got to be motivated, all right? Sometimes folks are looking for this hand holding. I need this training, show me exactly what to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whether it's a cloud-based brokerage, whether it's a traditional brokerage, you have to be motivated. Whatever you need to learn, whatever you need to be trained on, it's out there. It's recorded. You can go learn this. You can schedule time, be proactive and schedule time with me. Schedule time with you for the folks you bring on to learn what you need to do. If you're going to join the cloud-based brokerage and you're just going to sit there, nothing's going to happen. Guess what? Nothing was going to happen for you in the traditional brokerage either. You've got to go be a go-getter, whatever the model. So don't join the cloud-based brokerage and expect everything's going to be handed to you. Not necessarily, but all the resources are available to you. You've got to take advantage of them.
Know if you felt this way, but as a real estate agent, the successful agents are the ones that don't need their hands held. I've often met agents who are like, "Who's giving me leads?" or "Who's going to do this?" or "It's who." And I always say to them, like, "Look, if you need someone to hand you something, you need to go get a job, like a 9 to 5 job where they pay you a salary." But if you want to you get into real estate to be an entrepreneur, to run your own business, own your own time. Notice this: yours. Then you need to develop that self-driven motivation. I tell agents all the time, I'm like, I will 100% meet you where you are, but I'm not coming to drag you. If you call me, I will call you back. If you reach out to me, I will reach you back. I will set up workshops. I'll set things up. But if you don't show up, I'm not calling to ask you where you are. I will 100% match you effort for effort. But I learned that a long time ago because I could see potential and I'd want to drag them across the finish line. And I realized I was like, doing that just wasted my time and eventually theirs, because they're not ready for that or meant for this kind of a business. So I think there's a level of that exposes agents in a cloud-based brokerage. You really get exposed because everything is there, and there's so much. And so you get found out. If you're not moving forward or moving the needle, you're not doing enough. Because success loves speed, right? Success loves, and action recreates speed. So would you agree with that?
110%. In this business, you've got to be a go-getter. You've got to have the hustle, the grind to be successful, right? And not everyone's willing to do that. I'll give you examples without naming names. People who have joined Real Broker under me. If I'm contacting them, if I'm pinging them every so often to follow up, et cetera, but they don't get back to me. But then when they need something, then they contact me. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. You've got to be a go-getter for any realtor, any brokerage. You've got to be a go-getter. You got to hustle. You got to learn what you need to learn and go do it.
Sorry, I'm muted. I think at the end of the day, that's just go get it. Go get it. And I think too, when you're inspired to do that, and our companies together, both of them have offered just endless amounts of coaching and endless amounts of trainings where you don't have to be the person that they call, because there's literally copious amounts of people that they can talk to. And I do feel like sometimes it's that same idea where you reach out consistently, but then when they need you, they will blow your phone up until you answer. I'm here, but we have to have it's the nature of the beast. I wonder too, if in traditional models, they work through some of this stuff anyway, just bringing in agents, but moving agents that do business don't need that same coaching, same handholding. They usually drop into our kind of, so if you're an agent listening and you're doing a decent amount of business every year, selling 5 to 10 houses, this is the kind of model you could drop in and scale quickly. I don't know. Would you say that? I felt like once I got into a cloud-based brokerage, my business just soared.
Real quick, is my video working on your end?
So I thought you were watching me. You're frozen.
I'm frozen.
Yeah.
So how do I unfreeze, or have we done enough material here?
We've probably done enough material.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know how to
I don't know what happened.
That's usually a connection thing. But that's okay. So that's okay. We've got enough. We can delete that part as well. But okay, let me wrap it up. So if you're looking to speak to either of us, we're both here, EXP and Real, love cloud-based brokerages. Please, all the links are going to be at the bottom of this podcast. Thank you so much for joining. I look forward to seeing your success in the future and hearing more about Real from you down the road. Cheers.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Platinum Agent Podcast. If you're ready to take your business beyond gold and into platinum, let's connect. Reach out to me at this email, renee@reneeruthofficial.com, and we'll make something happen. Don't forget, hit subscribe, because Joshua and I will be back with more insights. Until then, go platinum.